We're after this performance, and I think we're still moved, at least I know I am. A very touching and moving experience. And this experience has been described in different media as a performance, a therapy, and a game, a risky game. So if you could tell me, and I'm directing the question to you as the first person, if you could tell me a bit, what was your idea? Was it supposed to be therapeutic from the beginning? And how was it born?
Well, no. When we start working in the process, it was not wanting to create a therapeutic piece. We had this, in 2011, we created this 100 people performance called Atlas that we present also here in Warsaw, in the Body and Mind Festival, some years ago. And after this experience with 100 persons on stage that they speak about themselves, we had this invitation of the same theater in Lisbon where we premiere to try to find a concept where we could give voice to teenagers. But at the time we were already with another piece with teenagers, like 14, 15, 16, so we decided that we don't want to work with teenagers, we want to work with young adults after 18, after the age where you can vote, after the age where you are considered adult, and where suppose you are free to do whatever you want. So this was the beginning of the process. Then we did different residencies with young adults from 18 to 23 in Sweden, in France, in Portugal. And we discovered together this game. This is a game that you find on the internet, because we start working, giving space to people to talk. But when it became solo talk, it was a bit too much, like this light only in one person, like too much reality show. So we discovered this game and this sharing experience between the 12, somehow to create a dispositive where you could have space to share your stories, addressing these thematics that they address by casuality, because they don't know never which question or issue they will have in the paper. And by sharing their stories between them, and by doing the project, because we premiered in 2017, but we did already more than 300 young adults working with us, we understand that the whole week that we work, it has this therapeutic potential, but it was not our main goal to create a therapeutic piece. We believe that art should do this work, therapeutic, but not as a therapy, not as psychology. Because this is another field, it's not my field. Yes. But by working this week with these people and by give them strength to not be afraid to be what they are, not be afraid to talk their own experience, even if are really different from each other, I think this has this potential.
You mention risk as something that can be transformational, that can bring people to happiness. And I have to say that choosing a gun, even if it's a toy gun, on stage is something that for me was actually really terrifying in the beginning. I really wonder how it was for the group, and I will address the group, and I really want to ask them how they felt in the beginning. Could you tell us something more about this philosophy of risk being something that actually brings happiness?
Well, all the pieces that I create with João Galante, my husband, we are a couple and we work together. We mix a lot, live and art. So all the pieces we create, we try to think as live. No, you have to take a risk, and you have to be responsible for your risks, the risks you have. So, being engaged with what you want to do, or what you want to say, or what you want to dare to do, is a way of also being engaged with society. I really like, we really addressed much more to presenting what we are, what we have on stage, than representing some text. And these risks, for me, it's like real life. You have to commit yourself in real life. You have to have decisions. You have to have a position in different fields in real life. And by having this risk, don't know where you go, you discover where you want to go. And you discover who you are. I don't know if I...
Yes, well...
There's just this beautiful word of this from Iceland, artist from Iceland, that is say that having an experience is making part of the world. And making part of the world is sharing responsibility. And this that I share with them, because I have to trust them, and they have to trust me. I have to trust that they are brave enough to talk about themselves, and they have to trust this could go for a peace and not only therapeutic moments. It's something that I really believe, like this being responsible of what you want to say, of what you want to share.
It sounds to me from what you're saying a bit that happiness, or something that you want to evoke with this process, is a lot like adulthood. When you speak about responsibility and speaking your voice, it's a process. Is it a process of growing up?
I don't know. Of course, when you are kids and you don't have responsibilities, you can be more happy, I think. Naturally, you can be more happy, because when you have consciousness of the stuff, of the world around you, of the shit around you, you have to make yourself a statement and be brave to be with decisions. Otherwise, you get caught in this machine, in the system, and this will not bring you happiness. Happiness could bring by you facing your fears, and you can only be free also if you could live without fear, because with fear we cannot be free. So somehow, when you get, of course, this consciousness of who you are, how the world is in the past, now, what will be in the future, it's a shock, it's a hard world, no? It's maybe more difficult to find happiness when you have a conscious, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And could you share a bit from the tools of trade, from your tools, from how you work, how do you create a process that is safe enough to share and to actually discover who you are and what you think on different subjects that are kind of thrown at you in this process? How long is the process, by the way?
It's 7 days.
7 days only. Wow.
Where in the first day they see the video from other countries. I show also a small video that inspires a lot from a movie called D'Amore se vive. It's From Love We Live, from this Italian Silvano Agostini. It's a director, philosopher, a bit. If you find in the internet, From Love We Live, Silvano Agostino, it has trailers, and it's really interesting documentary about how we can address the world in the perspective of love and sex and erotism, and how different people address this theme, like children, grown-up women, prostitutes, and this talking about touching the wound, how do you say,
the wound, yeah.
Yeah, like without taboos, and it was also inspiring for us in this process. So this first day we see videos and they present themselves, what they do, and we present together. So normally we are in a group in the same positions, and we all share our experience. And then the second day we start this game. And we do a lot of warming ups, like dancing together, massage each other together, release tensions. I think they prefer the warming up than the piece.
Do you? Yes, true.
But they can talk later. And this trying to erase these boundaries that we all have, like looking to each other's eyes, don't be afraid to touch the other. It's a process also of it's a body process that Catarina does really well, and Tiago sometimes does also, that it really makes the body trusts, but because the body trusts, the mind goes together. And then, of course, we have to deal with how to tell a story, how not to stay stuck in too much details, but how also bring some cinematic color when you are telling some story, and this balance. And then we have to trust. For me, I have to say that this piece is really the piece that I most suffer. I feel like a coach, football coach, you know, because I cannot handle, because they have the structure, but they are free to say whatever they want. So I'm like this, come on, go for again, don't go for again, wait. But it's like a process that I have also to deal, because it will be really easy also and safer to decide that everybody tells the best story they have in the process. But this kills also this idea of the unknown, of the, let yourself be confronted
Yes.
with the unknown and go deep.
Can I open this question to all the crew, actually, for now? I wanted to ask you, there was something that was very interesting in what you said, that you all share. Yeah, does it mean that you all share personal stories and that you all in the beginning answer the same questions? Would you like to comment on this?
Yeah, well, we don't share our personal stories. I'm sorry, no, we don't do that. But yeah, sometimes we do it to help them. But what we share, it's the way that we are working. And it's this way that it's really about the encounter and going to this connection. Yeah, that's it.
Katarina, would you like to add something? You don't need to.
We share tools. We share our process of learning also to arrive here to them. We pass the instruments that we have for them to deal with the audience, but also with emotions, with body, with thoughts, and also to be strong in a group, but also to be strong individually, okay?
I can see some of the people nodding. So would you like to comment on that? How did you react to the tools? What helped you?
Can I? Yeah.
Sure, please.
I think that the thing that you were sharing with us during this process was the feeling that all of the things which are happening in our lives and all of the needs that we have, that, for example, that you were talking about the touch with each other, or about different taboos, that all of this is absolutely natural, because sometimes I think that when we are living in a cultural context and in society, we kind of feel that some of the things maybe are not natural, although we really seek for that. Like, for example, touch. Yes? And during this process, we felt, at least I felt, I don't know, what about the others, but I felt that I don't know, that we are really near to our nature, right? And that's all of it's absolutely okay. And that we have full acceptance for our intuition. So yeah, I'm glad for that.
Actually, I think the very important thing in that process are our bodies. We were very close to our bodies and our natural side of living, like this very wild, very sweaty, very, I don't know, dirty body stuff. And I think this is important. Probably, maybe that's the point why we was so courage and open, yeah, to say things about us.
But the process was really strange because those people know more about me than my parents, but I have no clue where they live or what their favorite color is or what their story is. I just know some really serious shit about them, and that's all. We have nothing to talk about outside this place. We were riding the bus yesterday, and we were like, so, what do you listen to? After a week of touching each other for hours on. So I don't know if this is like the best experience you can have with other humans.
Okay, was there something, a moment, or something that happened in the process that really surprised you in yourself? When you surprised yourself?
So for me, it was really surprising that we start to share really difficult stories. We didn't share easy one. We shared the most traumatic ones sometimes. So for me, at the beginning, because I study psychology, it was really surprising that we are so open. We don't know each other. We saw each other maybe twice, one in July, one in September. So it was really difficult for me to share in the beginning trauma stories, but when I saw that everyone sharing bad moments, it was more natural also to share with them not the best moments, but the worst one.
I was wondering during the process, because many stories have get opened, and I've been wondering from where is this need to talk about things that maybe are only mine stories, and is it a kind of showing your privacy, and it is showing mine privacy, but why do I need it, and why actually I want it? And this is something I don't have good conclusions. I mean, I think it is weird. I mean, but well, I still need it, and here then this need was somehow done, completed, fulfilled, yeah.
Anyone else would like to speak about how they surprised themselves?
Actually, what is really surprising always when you get together with so many people and start talking completely openly about stuff, it's always really surprising how many people have exactly the same story as you have, and how good it starts to feel about you that you suddenly realize that you are not that weird, and that there are so many people who actually experience the same. And that's actually something that really shocked me, because I knew when I was coming to that project that there will be a lot of stories, but I just didn't expect that there will be so many strong and also so many similar stories to mine.
I have one more question towards the group. I know that the group was changing throughout the process, right? That some people left, right? I wonder what made you stay? What made you stay and perform?
But no, nobody left during the process.
It was
before we start.
So why did you decide to stay? Because some people decided not to join, right?
I didn't know that I can leave. because Paulina said that we can't leave when we signed this document. So.
Okay, so it's your fault, really, that they all stayed.
And I thought that it will be great challenge and opportunity to meet so many beautiful people like you. Yeah, I'm really glad that I met you, and thank you.
And also when you start oversharing on a stage, it gives you an amazing high. And I think it's very yeah, it's addictive to start oversharing on a stage, and then it's really hard to quit.
I mean, where is the other place when you can get massaged by 6 strange people and you will get paid by this? I don't recall any.
Yes.
I think that it's amazing to realize what do you need by other stories, actually. And we actually met in July, so we know each other more or less, like we saw each other. And I found it out that it's a really nice group, and their life is a bit too short to don't participate in such projects, to don't give a chance to perform and to see what can you say in front of the, I don't know, 200 people. So I think that it's really good to take opportunity to do the things which you probably in the future wouldn't have chance to try.
I even can't imagine now how I will feel and also how my life will be after we finish, because it was so good to meet you guys like all these days and sharing stories, massage, and be just together. And so, yeah.
Yes. I want to ask if anyone from the audience, would you like to share? No, you shared, right? Anyone from the audience has a question?
Ja nie mam pytania, ale chciałam Wam bardzo, bardzo serdecznie podziękować za ten występ. Ja na co dzień pracuję z młodzieżą i z rodzicami i wyobrażam sobie, jak dużo barier musieliście pokonać. I dziękuję Wam za Wasze historie. One przybliżą też Wasz świat, tak? I z czym się musicie borykać na co dzień. Bardzo Wam dziękuję.
So I don't have a question. I have a thank you, really. I'd like to thank you all for sharing your stories and for presenting it. I'm a person who works daily with teenagers, with young people, and I'm sure that there were so many barriers that you needed to transgress in this. And I would like to thank the participant for sharing their stories. And it gave me a look into your world and your struggles. So thank you very much for it.
It's true. It's really brave from all participants every time they do this piece. And it's really, brave, courageous to be generous, to put themselves in this position. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone else have a question? Yes? Yes, please. The group also wants to say.
Yeah, I do have a question because you travel with this program around the world. like trying out how it works with different groups of young people. And then, have you noticed any like particularities in working with this particular group? Like, I don't want to say that it's like a national thing that we might have or not, but was there anything that actually differs those people significantly from the ones that you worked previously?
Actually, I don't think it really changed so much from city to city. It changed sometimes with different groups. And sometimes the group are a bit more homogeneous, like in this kind of cultural way of society, with studies, they go to theater, they live in the city, that they go and see art, and they are more or less the same in this group. Sometimes when we work in more small cities, when we have both, but also people that never been in the theater, don't see so much art. This difference sometimes gets even more interesting. In the sense, it's not that this is not interesting, this group, but when you have really different people in the groups that have different opinions with religions or with political point of view, the debate between them become really more, more spicy, more when they, but it has more to do with different, when you have different guys with really different experience of life. When they are more homogeneous, it's more or less somehow in different cities the same. When we have more small cities, people who never been doing theater, these differences bring something. I know that you in the audience feel, wow, this guy has really a different life from me. You know, because I think as the audience also share with us, you also are dealing with a mirror, no? You are seeing yourself when you were your first sex experience, when you had problems with your parents. So there's this mirror. And when you see a story that it's really different from yours, brings, and from the group also between them. We had, for example, in France, a small city where there were a girl that was Muslim, and then it was Catholic guys, and then it was guys that didn't believe at all in God. So, and these differences bring really interesting debates also, and stories. But somehow I think also we are not so different from each other, even if we live really in this really small place in the countryside, because somehow we are more connected nowadays.
I want to develop this question a bit and ask you about taboo. You work a lot with taboo. And so on cultural level, have you noticed difference in Europe? Because you work mainly in Europe, right?
Guys,
have you noticed difference in
Polish
discussing
people,
taboos?
they have a lot of taboos, I have to tell you. They don't speak sometimes normal words, because maybe it's cultural, of course. When we do this in South Portugal, they were really talking as they were in school, like with much more bad words or without afraid. So I think, of course, these differences, or in Brazil, where also they are more provocative, also the words they choose to say. I think here in Poland you can feel people have a bit afraid to talk vagina or penis. But it's cultural, I don't know, it's...
Yeah, sometimes we had to say, you go a lot around the thing. Why you don't go direct to the thing and say the name? It is what it is. We had like this approach to them. Don't be afraid to say words. It's like natural. But I think it's like some static also, something of okay, let's not be so rude in a way. I think people are people. I can't generalize, but polite and really nice. And I think this is part of being also not so into the point sometimes. But like sometimes we push this a bit, just go and say the things as it is.
For example, in Sweden, we had really hard time for them to speak about sex. Because it's really cultural that parents don't speak about sex with kids, with young adults. They are not kids anymore, but during the process of growing up, they say that they never talk with parents about sex. So they really had this hard time to deal. And it was really nice because it happens to a girl, this question, and she spoke about this, that I don't even can think about how to speak about this because I have really difficult times at home to speak with sex. Nobody say these words. So it's cultural, these differences, and you can feel, of course.
Was there a moment that shocked you in terms of how direct or how, I don't know, abrupt?
There were several, and it was first in the beginning of the premiere. I will not tell the story here, but I was like, because we were still working on the process and we were premiere in Lisbon, and I was like saying to João, my husband, maybe this is too much. And he was really angry with me, saying, no, nothing, it's too much. There's nothing you cannot say, because if people...
He says it was a little too much.
But
okay,
it was too much, but at the point that... And we had this school evening, not for secondary, not children, but secondary school, in this presentation, and they said, this is not true. You know, you see, I told you, they are not telling true stories, because the story so weird, but it was true. So, and also, this is also about true, but it's also a performance. It's also theater. So, this thing that, okay, you never forget that also we are creating a piece together.
I just want to ask the organizers if we still have time to continue. We don't. Okay. Listen, so thank you very much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all the stories and stories about the process and the stories on stage. It was a very deep experience for many, I'm sure. So
thank you.
If there's any final word you want to say, or
tomorrow will be better, even stronger.
Yeah.
Yes,
I just wanted to thank you guys, like all of you, the team. So Ana, Tiago, Katerina, Pedro, Paulina, Dagmara. It's for everything, just because it's a long list of things that you've done for us and with us also.
Tomorrow another show, huh? We keep on going, working.
Okay, so thank you very much. Good night.